for coming. The topic we are going to cover is karma. I'm sure all of you have heard this word karma before. Any of you never heard this word karma? Okay. So you all know heard the karma. Then I would like to ask this question. What do you think karma is? What karma means?
Action and reaction.
Hmm?
Action and reaction.
Action and reaction. That's good one. Anything else? Come on. There's no right or wrong answer. You can just a discussion to get started. Work. Yes, that's a good one. Action. Literally, the word karma means action or work. Right? It's action. Anything else? Action with consequences. That's a good one because every action has a consequent reaction. Right? Yeah. Anything else? Okay, no problem. So we will get started. As I said, the word karma means action, or to be specific, action with consequent reactions. So for every action, there's a consequent reaction. That's the laws of nature. In nature, for every action we do, there is a consequent reaction. So today, what we are going to cover is these are the topics or the things we are going to kind of touch base upon, because karma is a very elaborate subject. 1 hour may not be sufficient. But we are going to cover these things: free will, destiny, and laws of karma, right? And then different types of karma, and then the stages of karma, and then the sources of karma, and conclusion. So this is what we're going to cover. So one of the things, karma means action with consequent reaction, right? For this to work, for action with consequences, there is a prerequisite for karma to work. Or without that concept, karma doesn't make any sense at all. Or do you think it's required? Huh? Okay, attachment. Even before that, desire, okay. That's good, that's correct. Is there in the screen? Free will, right? If there is no free will, the concept of karma doesn't make any sense. Now, what is free will? What do you think free will is? Simple, you don't have to be complicated. I'm approaching the topic in a very simple way. Let's define the word free will. What is free will? Yeah, ability to make choices. You have some choices in front of you. So without any external, pressure or inputs, you can decide what you want out of the choices in front of you. The choices must be limited, right? We're not talking about all the choices in the world. Whatever choices are there in front of you, the ability to choose, right? That's free will, as simple as that. If that ability to choose is not there, karma doesn't make any sense. Because you have the choice of choosing. When you choose, then there is a reaction. If you're not choosing, right, it doesn't make any sense to have a reaction, right? So that's one of the fundamental difference between human species of life and other species of life. All the other species of life, they simply go through the choices they make are all not completely free. Their choices are in general guided by these two fundamental foundational concepts of all species. What are they? Self-preservation and race preservation. Right? All the species of life, they make choices guided by only these two principles, self-preservation and race preservation. Again, that self-preservation and race preservation, if you want to go understand in little detail, it is mentioned that Ahara Nidra Bayamaitanamcha Samanya Meta Pashubir Narana. Ahara, eating, Nidra, sleeping, Bayam means fear. Out of fear, what we do? Defend ourselves. Defending, and Maithanam means producing offsprings or mating. If you see eating, mating, sleeping, defending, they are all four of these actions are common to all species of life. Agar, Nidra, Bayamaitanamcha, Samanya Meta, Pashubir Narana. Pashu means animals and other species. Nara means human beings. Samanya Meta means common to both. What are they? These four: eating, mating, sleeping, defending. So this eating, mating, sleeping, defending, if you look at it, they are self-preservation and race preservation. Dharmegi tesham adhike vishesho, dharmegi hina pashubir samana. What is the one which differentiates human beings from other species of life? Dharmegi tesham adhike vishesho. Adhike vishesho means special ability or extra ability. Dharmegi tesham. Dharma, the ability to choose between right and wrong, good and bad, happiness and suffering. The ability to discriminate is the one which the special ability of human species. Dharmehi tesham adhike vishesho. Dharmehi hina pashubir samana. If you don't exercise the faculty of discrimination of between right and wrong, good and bad, and happiness and suffering, you are nothing but pashu only. Dharmehi tesham adhike vishesho. Dharmehi hina pashubir samana. So because we have this ability to discriminate, so our free will is more fully developed compared to other species of life. They also have a free will, but their free will is very limited and directed by the propensities of eating, mating, sleeping, defending only. Whereas human species of life, we have also these propensities of eating, mating, sleeping, defending, but our free will is more developed. So we can make inquiry, we can make choices which is not just bound by eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Because we have this extra power or extra ability. Along with power comes what? responsibility, right? Hence, we are responsible for the actions we make choices, the consequent reaction. For every action, there is a predetermined consequent reaction. That is called destiny. If you make this choice, this will be the result. If you make this choice, this will be the result. That is called. But destiny is not like without the free will. You understand? We can't say that, blame the words by, oh, it is destiny, I ended up like this. If somebody says that it is destiny, I ended up like this, is it a correct statement? It's partially correct. Yes, because of destiny, you ended up like here. Before that, you made a choice. In front of you, in front of us, there is a choice, and we chose that choice. If we choose that choice, this is what the result is going to be. So again, free will and destiny, they are interlinked. So this whole setup of free will and destiny and what type of reaction is going to come, somebody has to oversee this, right? Making sure that for this action, this is the reaction, this action, this is the reaction. Somebody has to oversee all these things. That's what nature does. Nature means here not only this laws, along with it, there is an enforcer. His name is called Paramatma. Upadrishta Anumantacha Bharta Bhokta Mageshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Jivatma. But in this body, there is another knower or another Purusha. What does he do? Upadrishta. Upadrishta, drishti means what? Seeing. Upadrishta means overseeing. Anumanta means permitting. Upadrishta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Mageshwar. Actually, he is the Bhokta. He is actually the supreme enjoyer. Mageshwara is the supreme controller. What's his name? Paramatmi Chepikto Degeshmin Purushapara. In this body, Degeshmin. In this Dega, there is another knower, another Purusha. Apart from the Jivatma, what's his name is called? Paramatma. And Paramatma is the one who makes sure that the laws of nature is enforced, making sure that whatever actions people have performed, those are accounted. And then the results for that will eventually come. So that's the laws of karma. And then now for actions we choose out of free will, the reactions can be classified into what are the types of reaction can be. For actions I choose, there can be reactions which I may not like it, or negative reaction, or the actions I choose for which the reaction which I might like it, positive reaction. Right? The type of reactions, when I say types of karma means the types of reaction. Positive reaction, negative reaction, and no reaction at all. Maybe for some activities there is no reaction at all. Right? So when I choose an activity, if that activity has a positive reaction, that activity is called simply karma or sukarma or punya karma. In Sanskrit, it's called punya. Activities, when we do those activities, there will be a positive reaction. Simply, we call it as karma or sukarma or punya karma. Those are the activities which are recommended in scriptures. If you do those activities, there will be a positive reaction. Can somebody give an example of action for which there can be positive reaction?
Charity.
Charity. Very good. What else?
Seva.
Seva. Austerity.
Non-violence.
Hmm?
Non-violence. Non-violence.
Non-violence. If those are good, right? Activities in general, if you do, there will be a positive type of reaction. Actions which are when we do, which can produce negative reaction, the activities which are prohibited in the scriptures. The scriptures has injunctions say that don't do these activities. When you do it, there will be a negative reaction, negative consequence. Negative means what? We may not like it. You might experience pain. Those are called vikarma. Activities which are prohibited in the scripture, when we do, there will be a negative reaction. Those are called vikarma. And then I said there might be third type of activity. For maybe that activity, there's no reaction at all. To do that activity, there is no reaction. What are they? What is it called? Akarma. Those activities are called akarma. Activities, when we perform, there is no reaction at all. In future, we will not get any reaction for that activity. Not only that, akarma has another special ability. It not only does not, the action I am performing now, not only there is no future reaction, but the stockpile of all the reactions I have, the past, all the activities I performed, there will be a stockpile of reactions, both positive and negative. They are two separate tracks. And those are called punya and papa. Right? Vikarma is generally called papa. Papam. So this stockpile of both papa and papam and punyam, they also get the stockpile of all the past reactions, they also get burnt. By what? Akarma. The whole concept of Bhagavad Gita is help us to understand this so that we can perform akarma activities, which does not produce any positive, any reaction, neither positive or negative, and also it burns up all the stockpile of our positive and negative reactions. Right? These are the types of karma. Karma, vikarma, and akarma. We're going to cover the akarma later. That's sort of the conclusion. And then stages of karma means when we perform an activity, the reaction for that. right? In what state the reaction is there now? It is mentioned there are 4 stages. What are the 4 stages? Bija, Kuta, Prarabdha and Aprarabdha. Bija means the reaction is not manifesting, it's lying down in the seed stage. And then Bija Kuta means it's like the seed is planted. Now it's going to come out sometime. And then Prarabdha means the seed had already fructified, started giving fruits. And Aprarabdha means it's not going to, the seed is not even in the field, it's there lying down in a bag. These are the stages in which the karma, the karmic result, the result of the actions, what we chose in the past, the reactions can be in any one of these 4 stages. Bija, Kuta, Prarabdha and Aprarabdha. Does it make sense? Like there is a bag of seeds and then some seeds are taken out and I'm going to put it in the field. The seed is put in the field, but it's not, didn't germinate yet. When it starts germinating, that is like, when it's the seeds there in the field, it's like Bija. When the seeds are germinating, that is Kuta. When it germinated, it starts giving fruits. It's called Prarabdha. So these are the stages in which karmic result can be there. The stages in which it is manifesting. Understood? Bija, Kuta, Prarabdha and Aprarabdha. And then sources of karma, the reactions, right? Where and all the activities what we do, there is reactions for it. Where these reactions are stored, where it will be. So that is, there are 3. The first is called Prarabdha, which is already manifested. Second is called Aprarabdha, which is it's going to come in next life, in future lives. The third is called Kriyamana. The activities I am performing in the current body now, the results is going to come. Where the results are going to. When and where the results are going to come. Either it can come in this life or next life. The Kriyamana, the activity I am doing now, either it can enter into Prarabdha or it can go into Aprarabdha. So Aprarabdha also is, there is another name for Aprarabdha, it's called Sanchita. Right? Sanchita karma. Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma and Kriyamana karma. These are the sources from which the results are coming. Understood? So if you wanted to understand this concept a little bit more, little, because all the other things, whatever I covered, you might have already heard in DYS classes. So this is where we are going to go a little deeper to understand this Sanchita, Prarabdha and Kriyamana. If you wanted to understand this concept, let's say there is an archer who has a bow and arrow. He took the arrow and shot that arrow, the arrow which is in the mid-air, which is all have been released from the bow, it's going to hit its target. That is like Prarabdha. The results are going to come. It's going, the arrow is already in the mid-air, it has to go and hit, it will hit the target. That is Prarabdha. That means, let's say there is a huge, like a huge can of water. right? And then I use a cup. I took 1 cup of the water out of it, right? So the huge can of water is like Sanchita. All our past actions and reactions, right, are there in the tank. Out of the tank, I just used the cup and took 1 cup out of it. That is like prarabdha, which is going to manifest in this life. The water which came out of the tank or a storage, right? It's in 1 cup. That is like the arrow which already had left the bow. The water had come out already. I'm going to drink it. It might be bitter or sweet, the water or salty, I don't know what it is, right? It's going to hit it. So this arrow which left the bow by the archer, which is going to surely hit the target, that's called prarabdha. In this life, it's going to manifest. Out of the whole stockpile of reactions, there are some we are destined to get in this life. So that is prarabdha. Now, Sanchita is like this archer has a quiver. He has a whole bunch of arrows sitting. That is like Sanchita karma or aprarabdha karma, which is not manifesting, it is simply sitting there. Got it? The arrow which already left the bow, which is in the mid-air, is like prarabdha. The arrows which are sitting in the quiver is like Sanchita or aprarabdha. Now, this archer also, there is a piece of wood lying down there, there's a small metal. He takes this two and then makes a new arrow. He has to get arrow from somewhere, right? The arrow has to come from somewhere. This archer, not only he shoots the arrow, he makes his own arrow also. He has to make sometime, right? That's the source. He has to come. When he starts making the arrow, that is called kriyamana. The activities we do perform now, right? We will have reactions. Now, after making the arrow, where the arrow is going to go? Either he might put it in the quiver or he might shoot the arrow. Right? Got it? When we shoot the arrow, then it becomes prarabdha. The results will come in this life only. Or if he puts in the quiver, it's going to come in future life. So, hence the activities we perform now, sometimes the result can come in this life itself. Sometimes the results may not come in this life. If it comes in this life, that means the arrow he made it, it's short. It's going to manifest now. If he puts back in the quiver, the results are not going to manifest now, it will come in future life. Now you understood the concept? Sanchita, prarabdha, and kriyamana. Got it? So this analysis of Sanchita, kriyamana, and prarabdha, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary on Vedanta Sutra, he explains this. So this is the karma, as I said, it has many dimensions, the types, the sources, right? So now this is another way of understanding, another dimension of understanding karma. There is activities, what we do, where the results are going to be. What are the sources? Prarabdha, aprarabdha, and kriyamana, or prarabdha, sanchita, and kriyamana. Now, how this karma can be stopped? Why it needs to be stopped? Right? Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. I'll just show the couple of slokas. In the 14th chapter, the 4th chapter, 16th verse, right? He mentions, right? Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo api atra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami Yajñatva mokshashe shubhat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is inaction. Action means there will be a reaction. Inaction means action when you do, there is no reaction. Even intelligent are bewildered. Now I shall explain to you what action is and what inaction is. Right? Knowing which, you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Right? That's what Krishna is telling. Now in the next verse, Karmano hi api bodavyam, bodavyam cha vikarmanaha, akarmanas cha bodavyam, gahana karmano gatihi. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Right? Action means punya, forbidden action, vikarma, right? Papam, and inaction means akarma. So these three things one should know properly. Then only you'll be able to make the right choices. The next verse again he is saying, one who sees inaction and action and action and inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sort of activities. Yes. Yeah, this is next verse. 16, 17, 18. Yes. Yeah, I'm just trying to, my mouse, it's not coming up.
No one about that. The minus sign.
Wait.
The very left.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So he's saying one who sees action and action and action. Yeah. One who sees inaction and action and inaction. Looks like a wordplay, huh? Confusing. Krishna, what he's trying to tell is one who sees inaction in action means even though that person is acting, there is no reaction. That is called inaction in action. What is it called? Akarma. Right? So in general, all the activities can be classified into this two. Activities which give reaction, activities which will not give any reaction. And activities which will give reaction can be again further classified as negative and positive. So inaction means akarma, activity for which there is no reaction. One who sees inaction in action means that person is doing activity or seeing that there is an activity is happening for which there is no reaction at all. That means one who sees inaction in action. And then one who sees action in inaction. Meaning, apparently there is no activities happening. But still there is a reaction coming. I'm doing nothing, standing there. Do I get reaction? The fact that I'm breathing, I'm going to get reaction from it. Because when I breathe, many other living entities are getting disturbed. So even though that person might look like he's not doing anything, he's accumulating what? Karma. So one who sees action in inaction. Apparently there is no activity, but still this person is getting reaction. So one who can understand inaction and action and action and action is intelligent among men. And he is in the transcendental position because he understands, even though he might be performing all type of activities, he is not incurring any reactions. He is in transcendental position, although engaged in all sort of activities. The next verse again he says, Yasya sarve samarambhaga kama sankalpa varjitaga jnanagni dakta karmanam tamahu pandita buddhaha. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by the sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So now, by knowledge, only one can understand all these things, you can discriminate. So knowledge is so important so that we make the right choices. Now, by making all these right choices, the future reactions can be eradicated. By making the right choices now, right, the future reactions can be eradicated. Also, the stockpile also can be eradicated by knowledge. But can it change? Can it change the one which is already set in motion, what we are supposed to get in this life? So if you look at the whole Vedic system, different paths are there, right? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, all these different paths which is provided. If you look at it, all of them can stop Sanchita Karma, which is going to happen in the future life by making the right choices. Now, we may not get any life at all. That means we can burn up the Sanchita Karma. By making the right activity by proper knowledge, by choosing the right activity now, that means properly engaging in current Kriyamana, we may not get any reactions in future. But the actions which already supposed to get in this life, can it be stopped? That means, does any of this have power to stop the arrow in the midair? The arrow which has been shot, which is in the midair, can it be stopped? Yes. So, if you understand the Vedic system, generally people have to go through in the current body, whatever I got, until the current body's time is over, I have to patiently wait. The current body is what is the starting point? Birth, right? Now let's look at bhakti. Definitely, karma and jnana does not have the power to stop the arrow which is in the midair. It can get rid of the quiver of arrows. What I have, I don't have to use it at all, or I don't have to make new arrows at all. But the arrow which had left the bow, it is going to hit the target. Can it be stopped? So as far as studying the Vedic philosophy systems, karma and jnana does not have the ability to stop the prarabdha, which is going to, we are supposed to get in this life. Only change, even to stop the arrow which is in the midair. Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when he explains the glories of bhakti, he mentions all these categories of karma, bija, bhuta, prarabdha, and aprarabdha, the stages in which it's all going to manifest. All of them can be eradicated. It's mentioned in Padma Purana. He quotes the verse from Padma Purana. Only Bhakti Yoga has the power to eradicate all the four in which the stages. Bija, Kuta, Prarabdha, Prarabdha. That means Prarabdha. Can Bhakti stop the midair, arrow in the midair? Now, as I said, the Prarabdha was, what is the starting point? Birth. Birth means two parents in a particular family, particular jati or a gotra. Can it be changed? No. Can it change the gotra in which you are born? No, right? But when you take bhakti, when you get initiated, after that your gotra is not. Generally, there are gotras, right? Kaushya gotra, right? Like that, different gotras are there. Vishwamitra gotra, like that, different gotras are there. The lineage in which the progenitor, the sages, Saptarishis, from which all the different lineage can come down. That's what gotra is. After getting initiated in Bhakti Yoga, after that time onwards, does that person use his gotra anymore? What gotra he says whenever somebody asks gotra? He says Achyuta gotra. What gotra he says? Achyuta gotra. Achyuta gotra means what? Does not belong to any of the sages. It belongs to Krishna. So, which can't be changed. Gotra cannot be changed by any process in this world except Bhakti Yoga. That is why Bhakti Yoga has the power to stop the arrow which is in the midair. So that means after getting initiation, if all the karmas are eradicated, what will happen? Immediately, I will not even live for a moment. After initiation, immediately, boom, finished and go back to spirit. But that doesn't happen. We see so many people getting initiated. But still we continue. Why? Because if all the prarabdha is removed, immediately the body cannot function. So all the prarabdha is removed by leaving only a wafer thin layer. A wafer thin layer of prarabdha is removed. Left. All prarabdha is removed, a wafer thin layer is left so that this person can continue in his bhakti yoga practice. Initiation means not the end, it's the beginning. At the time of initiation, the spiritual master takes away all the karma. Who has the power to take the karma? Only Krishna. The spiritual master takes the karma and then it gets transferred through the parampara all the way to Krishna. That is why the spiritual master has to come in a bona fide parampara. So the spiritual master, one who is initiating, he takes the karma. At that time, all prarabdha, aprarabdha, bija, kuta, all of them are taken away by leaving only a wafer thin layer of prarabdha. From that point onwards, the person is engaging only in Ananya Bhakti. There is no more reaction. Naturally, by end of life, he will go back to spiritual life. Only Bhakti has the power to stop even the air which is the arrow which is in the mid-air. All the other paths cannot. They can't change the gotra at all. That is why Krishna mentions. As I said, the whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the battlefield by Krishna to Arjuna. On what situation? He's not able to make a decision. To fight or not to fight, to act or not to act. Then Krishna speaks the whole Bhagavad Gita. After Arjuna surrenders and requests Krishna, please instruct me what is ultimately good for me. Then Krishna starts speaking from the foundation of all spiritual knowledge, which is, I am not this body. First understand this principle. Then you understand all the karma. Like that, he systematically propounds all these details of, different types of yoga through which karmas can be handled. And ultimately it talks about Bhakti Yoga, which is the culmination of all the yoga. In 6th chapter 47th verse, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham mat kadeyananda ratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samayukta tamo mataka. Right? He's saying, of all the yogis who's performing various type of karma yoga, dhyana yoga and all variations of all these things, the topmost yogi is Bhakti Yogi. One who always thinking of me, the one who abides in me, who's always serving me with devotion. He's the topmost yogi. This is my opinion. So because Krishna is called Yogeshwara, he is the master of all the yogas. Whose opinion matters in the systems of yoga? Krishna's opinion, because he is considered to be Yogeshwara, the master of all the yogas. So that is the opinion Krishna gives. As I said, whole Bhagavad Gita is help us to understand how in this world we can live such a way that by making the right choices, we can burn up the stockpile of all the positive and negative reactions so that we don't get any future reactions in the future, so that there is no more birth, death, old age and disease, so that we can go back to social world. This is the essence of Gita. This whole essence is captured in one verse. As I said, Gita, it's the essence of all the Upanishads. Right? Upanishads are nothing but the essence of the Vedas. The philosophical conclusion of the Vedas is in Vedanta or Upanishads. And conclusion of all the Upanishads there in Gita Upanishad. And the essence of all this Bhagavad Gita 700 shlokas is there in one shloka. You want to know that shloka? What Krishna has to say? 11.55 Mat karma krit mat paramo mat bhakta sangha varjitaga nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yasamam eti pandava. He's saying, my dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So this is Krishna's words. Now, let's read the purport of this verse. What Prabhupada has to say. Can you see all of you? Prabhuji, you can see online also the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm reading the purport.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Yeah. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone who wants to approach the supreme of all the personalities of Godhead on the Krishna Loka planet in the spiritual sky and be intimately connected with the Supreme Personality Krishna must take this formula as stated by the Supreme himself. Therefore, This verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Right? The Bhagavad Gita is a book directed to the conditioned souls who are engaged in the material world with the purpose of lording it over nature, and who do not know of the real spiritual life. The Bhagavad Gita is meant to show how one can understand his spiritual existence and his eternal relationship with the Supreme Spiritual Personality, and to teach one how to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, here is the verse which clearly explains the process by which one can attain success in spiritual activity. What is that? What is the process through which one can attain ultimate success in spiritual life? Bhakti Yoga. Because only this has the power to stop all the karma. Right? That is called devotional service. As far as work is concerned, one should transfer his energy entirely to Krishna conscious activities, as stated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255. Ana Shakataya Vishayan Yataram Upanjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yugdam Vairagam Uchate. No work should be done by any man except in relationship to Krishna. That is called Krishna Karma. One may be engaged in various activities, but one should not be attached to the result of his work. The result should be done only for him. Him means who? Krishna, the Supreme. For example, one may be engaged in business, but to transform that activity into Krishna consciousness, one has to do business for Krishna. If Krishna is the proprietor of the business, then Krishna should be engaged. Krishna should enjoy the profit of the business. If a businessman in possession of thousands and thousands of dollars, and if he has to offer all this to Krishna, he can do it. This is work for Krishna. Instead of constructing a big building for his sense gratification, he can construct a nice temple for Krishna, and he can install the deity of Krishna and arrange for the deity service as is outlined in the authorized books of devotional service. This is all Krishna Karma. One should not be attached to the result of his work, but the result should be offered to Krishna, and one should accept as prasadam the remnants of offering to Krishna. If one constructs a very building for Krishna and install the deity of Krishna, and one is not prohibited from living there, but it is understood that the proprietor of the building is Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness. If, however, one is not able to construct a temple for Krishna, one can engage himself in cleansing the temple of Krishna. That is also Krishna Karma. One can cultivate a garden. Anyone who has land in India, at least any poor man has a certain amount of land, can utilize that for Krishna by growing flowers to offer him. One can sow tulsi plants because tulsi leaves are very important, and Krishna has recommended this in Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. Krishna desires that one offer him either a leaf or a flower or a fruit or little water. And by such offering, he is satisfied. This leaf especially refers to tulsi. So one should offer, one can sow tulsi and pour water on the plant. Thus, even the poorest man can engage in service of Krishna. These are some examples of how one can engage in working for Krishna. The word Mat Parama refers to one who considers the association of Krishna in his supreme abode to be the highest perfection of life. Such a person does not wish to be elevated to the higher planets, such as the moon or sun or heavenly planets, or even the highest planet of this universe, Brahmaloka. He has no attraction for that. He is only attracted to being transferred to the spiritual sky. And even in the spiritual sky, he is not satisfied with merging into glowing Brahma Jyoti effulgence. for he wants to enter the highest spiritual planet, namely Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavana. He has full knowledge of the planet and therefore he is not interested in any other. As indicated by the word Mat Bhakta, he fully engages in devotional service, specifically in the 9 process of devotional engagement: hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering prayers, carrying out the orders of the Lord, making friends with him, and surrendering everything to him. This is called Navaveda Bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So Prahlad Maharaj, the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 7th canto, he explains how one can engage in this 9 types of bhakti, Navaveda Bhakti. Either one can do 1 or 2 or all the 7. Right? So all these choices are there. One can engage in all 9 devotional processes, or 8 or 7, or at least in 1. That will surely make one perfect. The term Sangha Varjitaka is very significant. One should dissociate himself from persons who are against Krishna. Not only are the atheistic persons against Krishna, but so also are those who are attracted to fruitive activities and mental speculation. Therefore, pure form of devotional service is described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 as follows: Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavartam Anukulyena Krishnanu Silanam Bhaktir Uttama. Silanam Bhaktir Uttama. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami clearly states that if anyone wants to execute unalloyed devotional service, he must be freed from all kinds of material contamination. He must be freed from the association of persons who are addicted to fruitive activities and mental speculation. When freed from such unwanted association and from the contamination of material desires, one favorably cultivates knowledge of Krishna. That is called pure devotional service. Anukulyasya sankalpa pradikulyasya varjanam. From Haribhakti Vilasa he quotes. One should think of Krishna and act for Krishna favorably, not unfavorably. Kamsa was an enemy of Krishna. From the very beginning of Krishna's birth, Kamsa planned in so many ways to kill him. And because he was always unsuccessful, he was always thinking of Krishna. Thus, while working, while eating, and while sleeping, he was always Krishna conscious in every respect. But that Krishna consciousness was not favorable. And therefore, in spite of his always thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day, he was considered a demon. And Krishna at last killed him. Of course, anyone who is killed by Krishna attains salvation immediately. But that is not the aim of pure devotee. The pure devotee does not even want salvation. He does not want to be transferred even to the highest planet, Goloka Vrindavana. His only objective is to serve Krishna wherever he may be. This is a very, very profound purport, because this verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada, if somebody randomly picks Gita, just happen to come this verse so that he gets the full benefit of Gita. That's why Prabhupada is explaining very nicely how different types of bhakti can be performed, how Krishna karma can be performed, how one can be Krishna consciousness in all activities. He was giving few examples. And then one should be having a clear desire. That desire should not be contaminated with karma or jnana. It should be only pure bhakti. Only desire to please Krishna. Yes, please.
Must be doing from the association of other people. So like, could we see Krishna and them, and also in them given to be friendly with so how can
Looks like a little contradictory. You should be friendly to all And then one should not associate with these people, right? Stay away from these people, it says. So this is a very good question. We'll cover that later. A good question, very good question. These are all details in terms of practical application. Right? We'll cover that. Let me finish this purport. A devotee of Krishna is friendly to everyone. Therefore, it is said here that he has no enemy. How is this? A devotee situated in Krishna consciousness knows that only devotional service to Krishna can relieve a person from all the problems of life. He has personal experience of this, and therefore he wants to introduce this system, Krishna consciousness, into human society. There are many examples in the history of the devotees of the Lord who risk their lives for spreading God consciousness. The favorite example is Lord Jesus Christ. He was crucified by the non-devotees, but he sacrificed his life for spreading God consciousness. Of course, it would be superficial to understand that he was killed. Similarly, in India, also there are many examples such as Thakura, Haridasa, Prahlad Maharaja. Why such risk? Because they want to spread Krishna consciousness and it is difficult. A Krishna conscious person knows that if a man is suffering, it is due to his forgetfulness of his relationship, eternal relationship with Krishna. Therefore, the highest benefit one can render to the human society is relieving one's neighbor from all material problems. In such a way, a pure devotee is engaged in the service of the Lord. Now we can imagine how merciful Krishna is to those engaged in his service, risking everything for him. Therefore, it is certain that such a person must reach the supreme planet after leaving the body. In summary, the universal form of Krishna, which is a temporary manifestation, and the form of time, which devours everything, and even the form of Vishnu 400 have all been exhibited by Krishna. Thus, Krishna is the origin of all this manifestation. It is not Krishna is manifestation of the original Vishwarupa or Vishnu. Krishna is the origin of all forms. There are hundreds and thousands of Vishnus, but for a devotee, no form of Krishna is important but the original form, 200 Shama Sundara. In Brahma Samhita, it is stated that one who is attached to Shama Sundara form of Krishna in love and devotion can see him always within the heart and cannot see anyone else. One should understand, therefore, that the purport of this 11th chapter is the form of Krishna, is that the form of Krishna is essential and supreme. Thus, and the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of universal form. So here, Prabhupada very nicely explained. As I said, Bhakti only has the only power to stop all karma. Right? All stages of karma, all sources of karma, and everything can be converted into akarma. And how to perform that bhakti? In this one particular verse, Krishna nicely summarizes the whole thing. Mat karma krit mat paramo bhakta sangha varjiteka nirvaida sarva bhuteshu yasamameti pandava. Always work for Krishna, become his devotee, make him as the supreme goal, and be friendly to all. Don't have any enemies. Because the moment you have enemies and friends, right, this distinction, you will engage in duality. Seeing all of them friendly means there are two types of friends. The one friends who facilitates my sense gratification in this world, and seeing that everyone is part of Krishna, hence he sees everyone as his friend. Understood? That type of friendship is recommended. So such a person definitely attains the supreme destination, Krishna Loka. So now the question Prabhuji asked is that here, that one should stay away from people who are, karmic or atheistic. And then also we should says that we should be friendly to all. That meaning, we should be living in this world. We have to deal with all kind of people in this world, but we should not take guidance or association from them. You can give association to them, but not take association from them. So that means you are friendly, but you are not interested in their philosophy or in their suggestions for your life. Understood? So this is the very practical way of, living in this world. Right? I'm in a classroom, I'm working somewhere, and not everybody is, somebody may be atheistic also. So you might have to work with him. It's not that you can't go and tell your manager saying that, no, I don't want to work with him because he's an atheist. No, you can't do that. You might not work, but don't get influenced by that person. Don't listen to him. If you have a problem, don't go and ask him. Because I have a problem focusing on chanting. What should I do? Right? You do necessary things, whatever needs to be done for your work, but you don't ask suggestions for what is the goal of life. Like the kind of question from me. Don't take association. That's what it means. Does that make sense? Yes, please.
Thank you, Rosie, for the wonderful class. Rosie, my question was that Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita at this almost at the start of Kali Yuga. Government was working. The living entities in Kali Yuga, they are very disturbed, and Bhakti Yoga is the most favorable yoga for them. And as you were saying, Bhakti Yoga is the topmost yoga system. So why would Krishna then Bhagavad Gita would even give other yogas, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and they should come?
That's a very good question. Krishna should simply say, become my devotee. That's it, Gita over. The reason why Krishna has to elaborate all the systems is so that not everybody is capable of understanding. So different person might be in different psychophysical nature or different stage of evolution in their spiritual journey. They have to be able to connect somewhere to start to continue the process. Hence, Krishna explains how these are all continuation, like a yoga ladder. You might be there anywhere in that journey. So if I can understand where I am, then I will be able to connect and do. So that's why Krishna has to elaborate all these things. He's not saying that just a karma yoga. He's not just doing just jnana yoga. He's not just saying that do dhyana yoga. He's telling these are how all these things are working, but ultimately all of them has to culminate in bhakti yoga. So that people, where if I'm inclined to dhyana yoga, my current psychophysical nature to be inclined in dhyana yoga, that person should not get stuck in dhyana yoga alone. So Krishna gives the full picture so that people understand. So that, oh, I can't just, this is not just my goal. I have to ultimately keep Krishna as my goal to progress. So the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is called, the 18 chapters of Gita is again divided into 3 sections. Acharyas divide into 3 sections. The first 6 chapters are called Karma Yoga section. The middle 6 chapters are called Bhakti Yoga section. And the last 6 chapters are called Jnana Yoga section. Why it is called like this? Bhakti is mentioned everywhere in Bhagavad Gita. And it is not that only karma is mentioned only in the first 6 chapters, it is mentioned later also. It is not that jnana is not mentioned in the first 12 chapters, only in the last. It is there everywhere. But whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is bhakti. But predominantly, the first 6 chapters talks about what activities the individual has to do by his own endeavor, so that he can come up to the level of realizing that I am not this body, I am a spirit soul. And then there is Supreme. After seeing in the heart, a yogi, after attaining samadhi, in his heart he sees. In the heart, there are 2 living entities, 2 purushas. What are they? Jivatma and Paramatma. If the yogi is properly trained, he will see that actually in the heart there are two. The Jivatma is like 1/10,000th part of a tip of a hair, which is situated in the heart. Paramatma is size of a thumb. He is also situated in the heart. In Samadhi, he sees only Paramatma. After seeing Paramatma, you should not mistake that, oh, that is me. Oh, I am God. Oh, I am seeing only Paramatma. I am seeing only Paramatma. But I am also there. I am a tiny one. 1/10,000th part of a tip of a hair. My goal is to serve him. If he is properly directed, that yogi will become a bhakti yogi. So that is the culmination of the 6th chapter. All type of different yogas has to culminate ultimately in loving devotional service. Now, how to perform the devotional service? You should have the knowledge of Krishna to serve him. That Krishna elaborates in detail the knowledge about himself in the middle 6 chapters of Gita, and how to serve him. That's why it's called predominantly the Bhakti Yoga chapters. And then the last 6 chapters, even after understanding all these things, I'm not this body, Krishna is supreme, my goal is to serve him and love him. Still, I have to live in this world. I have to do activities in this world, right? In order to do activities, you should be able to choose activities which are going to be favorable for your ultimate goal and reject activities which are unfavorable. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. We just studied in the purport. Prabhupada quotes that from Haribhakti Vilasa. Accept things which are favorable, reject things which are unfavorable. In order to do that, you need to know how this world is functioning, so that we can understand, oh, these activities are favorable to bhakti, these activities are unfavorable to bhakti. How this world is functioning? By the 3 modes. The material nature is functioning by 3 modes. Like that, Krishna explains the functioning of this world. Knowledge of inner working of this material nature, so that you know how to make choices so that which is favorable to your ultimate goal, which is bhakti. This knowledge of this world, how the world is functioning, starting from the 3 modes, that is called Dhyana Yoga. That is in the last 6 chapters. Of course, again, in the last chapter, Krishna concludes, re-summarizes the whole Bhagavad Gita. Conclusion. Ultimately, Krishna's final instruction is Sarva Dharman Parityeja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. He's telling all these various yogas, paths, and all these things I described. Yeah, I described for your knowledge so that you understand. Ultimately, just simply surrender to me. Become my devotee. The verse before that, 18.66, 5 and 66. These are concluding instruction of Krishna. 65, he says, Manmana bhav matbhakto matyajimam namaskuru. Mam evashi satyam te pritijano priyosime. Always engage your mind thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances unto me. Right? If you do this, you will come back to me. I am giving the promise. Pratijano priyasime. You will become very dear to me and you will come back to me. I give promise. In the next verse, he is telling, Sarva Dharman Parityeja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of all these various paths. Just simply become my devotee. Surrender to me. I will save you from everything. So that is why this Bhagavad Gita ultimately gives only one thing, what is called Bhakti Yoga. Through various stages, it's describing in a soul's journey. But ultimately, the goal should be to develop bhakti or loving devotional service unto the Supreme. Do you have a question? Yes. No problem.
So my question regarding action and inactions. You mentioned about inactions and inactions. What if a person is working and that person is doing the position like person? That person is unconscious position. So that person is already.
So as I said, the fact that we are breathing, still we incur some karma. So you might be in coma, but still you are incurring some karma. It might be very minimal, but still it is there. Because one living entity has to sustain life on another living entity. Right? Jivasya jiva jivanam. So that means there is always karma is being produced. There is no way. Even though we might be in coma, still the living entity is active only. It's producing it. That's why Krishna explained one who sees action in inaction. Even though it might look like there is no action, still action is happening. But one who sees inaction and action, he might be engaged in all kind of activities. But he is not getting in kani karma at all. Because he is engaged in akarma, Krishna karma. Make sense? Okay. I think it's 1:30 already, but if you have questions, we can one more question or two more questions we'll take. And then we can, during Prashad, we can discuss further. Okay? Who wants to go?
Basic question, quite similar to basic question. What is akarma and you can speak of it below. So I'm asking what is akarma and how can that person not be doing any action? Because even if that person is breathing, they are doing action.
Yes.
So
Akarma means, as I said, we saw three types of activities. Activities which produces positive reactions. Those are called punya karma or simply karma. Activities which are producing negative reaction, which is called vikarma or papa karma. And then activities for which there is no reaction. That is called akarma. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is to help us to get rid of this post papa and punya to engage into akarma. What is akarma? It's called Krishna karma. That's what in the final verse we saw. Engaging in service of Krishna is called akarma. Make sense? One more? Yes, please.
What you spoke about our own actions. All this time you spoke about our own actions. What about the actions of other people? Like somebody is doing seva, we join them, it will be good karma. Somebody is doing a bad action, like any bad thing.
Yeah.
How will it lead to bad karma in us? Or
It depends. It depends.
there a way to stop?
No, if somebody is engaging in sarma, everybody flies their own plane. But if you go so close to them, you might crash into them also. Right? So, but there is something called collective karma as well. Meaning, whole bunch of people are in a plane and the whole plane crashes. Right? So they are all kind of out of that, one person survives. So the laws of nature is very intricate. So how it delivers its result, that optimization, it has a perfect algorithm. So if others are engaged in some activities, if you are facilitating, yes, we will get some reaction to it. But if you are in a position to help them and correct them, we should. That's the whole point of Prabhupada, the purport, he talked about it, right? The devotees are taking that risk. Not only they are interested in themselves getting liberated, they want, this is the best, kind of help you can do to humanity is to make sure that that person does not suffer anymore. Of course, if that person is not in a favorable mindset, it's better not to speak. Just keep that friendly attitude towards him. at the appropriate time and he has the right mindset to receive, we can give. Otherwise, if the person is not ready, if you start giving, oh, I heard Bhagavad Gita and Karma, all of them, let me go and repeat tomorrow to somebody. No, it might be counterproductive. You need to understand. If you see the patient, first you need to check the pulse before giving the injection. Because the injection, if the body cannot accept the injection, if you give the injection thinking that it will cure him, it might kill him. Right? Like that, the sharing of the spiritual knowledge also, one should apply his own discrimination to see whether it's better to speak about Krishna or not to speak about Krishna. But keeping the friendly attitude towards that person, hopefully in future that person become favorable to receive this knowledge. That's ultimately, everybody is responsible for their own action, but out of compassion, we should try to help others as much as we could. Is it okay? Okay, one more.
Is the speculation and moving action, is it karma, mapping to karma and itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is there a concept of karma in the spiritual world?
Everything is akarma there in the spiritual world.
So
Concept
can
of
you-
karma means there is only one karma, Krishna karma.
So can you like walk us through like when we first fell down on the material realm? So how did the karma cycle start? Like what did we do?
When we
So
first
that-
ended up here.
Yeah.
It's a very elaborate question, but I'll try to summarize it quickly. Originally, we all spirit souls belong to spiritual world and misuse of the free will. Right? We wanted to enjoy independent of Krishna, which brought us into this material world. Right? So the understanding is that originally we all started in the Brahmaloka. Originally, we were once upon a time, we are all Brahma or Brahma's associated. But making further mistakes, we had come down. And this has been going on forever. This anadi, meaning we can't understand when it started. Yes. Welcome. You make up your mind. We'll do Prasad. We'll talk. Hare Krishna.
But Krishna karma is not able, right? Even if I'm looking at something, Punya karma, Krishna karma.
It's a good question. So, how to differentiate between Krishna karma and Punya karma? Because they sometimes look similar. The intention of the performer. That's what ultimately determines that. Going to temple, I might be going there to accumulate Punya karma. Or I'm going to temple to please Krishna. Depending on the mindset of the person who is going to the temple, it can be seen as simply as a punya activity, or it can be akarma activity. Sorry? That is the problem. Doing business with God that is what ultimately, that's what differentiates. If you are going to do business with him, I want to go there to get something, that is not Ananya Bhakti. That is what Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Yana Karma Dhyana. We saw the definition of pure Bhakti. Uttama Bhakti. We don't want to do Mishra Bhakti. We don't want to do. Yes, in the beginning, it is very difficult to even understand what Uttama Bhakti means. So hence, when we associate with people who are performing Uttama Bhakti, then we will also get that taste. So that is why association is key. When we associate with like-minded people, we will be able to understand and develop taste for further. In the beginning, of course, it is better to come to temple than going to the bar. But coming to temple also, you should understand why I'm going to temple. You are coming to temple, okay, I want to get something from Krishna, that is okay. But that's not the best. But if you want the best of the best, leave the rest to Krishna. You simply serve him. He knows what is best for us. Sorry? Yes, that is on his own he is giving. That is out of love. If I expect something, then it is not anymore. No expectation, without any expectation. Simply to please Krishna. No, that is too slow. Thinking that I want to please Krishna, that is also an expectation. It is like a never-ending loop. Where does that cycle stop? Because that is our constitutional position. Our constitutional position is to serve him. We are all made to serve him. As long as we are thinking from that point of view, there is nothing wrong with it. Because that is our position. That I want to serve Krishna, I want to please Krishna. That is not a desire independent of Krishna. The desire can never be removed from the living entity. But wrong type of desire should be removed. The right type of desire is, I should serve Krishna and please him. By doing that, automatically we will become happy. That is why seva, we were seeking for happiness in this world, what will you get? Misery. Buy one, get one free. But if you're seeking for seva, what do you get? Happiness, byproduct. So there is no need to make separate endeavor for seeking happiness. Our nature is to be happy. How? By seva, by serving him. When you serve, automatically we will become happy. There is no need of separately seeking happiness. This is the secret of the art of being happy in this world. Okay? Please take Prashad. We'll continue the discussion. It's already 1:40. Everybody, all of you might be hungry. So we want to take lunch and we can discuss during the lunch time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna, Prabhuji. We are stopping the session. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.